TV shows. Well,
I'm smiling.
TV shows have a special place in, I think I would say, everybody's hearts, because it it was always based on something that you could connect to. Whether it was a family TV show, it was about a single mom, it was about a village, or it was about comedy, whatever it was. The producers of these TV shows always had ingredients and elements in them that just about everybody could connect to. We're focusing on TV shows in Nigeria, and we're going to travel as far back as we possibly can. Now, I don't know how it was, or I don't know what was going through the minds of the producers of TV shows back in the day, but whatever it is they did it very, very well, because we had top quality TV shows, even considering the fact that if you're looking back from 2025 right now, the kind of technology available now that would be applicable in doing a TV show, surely not available then. It did not have anything on the quality of the material that they put out, because, well, it's so quality. In 2025, we're still sitting down here and speaking about them.
Yeah, that's really something that one can think about it. How is it that in 2025 we're talking about TV shows of 30 years ago? Meanwhile, there are certain TV shows of now that people can't even sit to even watch. But talking about that of those days, there was so much entertainment in them that, it wasn't just a discussion for that day. The next day you talk about it, you reminisce with it for the whole week till the next episode comes on.
Oh, Eba.
That's
Oh, Eba.
that's not the soundtrack, but that's the music from Checkmate.
Ireti, give us super.
Okay,
Where shall I see?
for those of you who watched Fuji House of Commotion, Checkmate is actually Fuji House of Commotion was the spin-off from Checkmate.
So this what I was talking about, that just underscores what I was saying earlier about the quality of the material that they put out. Checkmate was so quality that they cut out the aspect of one family and derived the whole show on it entirely, which by itself formed the core of some people's childhood. Some people will cite Fuji House of Commotion as the beginning of their appreciation of TV shows on well, of course, TV shows, when in actual fact that was pre-birthed by another TV show from like 93, 94.
Yeah, 93, 94, when Checkmate really aired. It was one of the best TV shows that time. It had a wonderful cast, because most of the Nollywood celebrities now that are legends, most of them started from Checkmate.
Yes, there was RMD, Segun Kadiri.
Yes.
There was Ego Boyo and Hatrop. There was Richard Mofedamijo.
Yes. There was Bob Manuel
Doku as
he was a younger brother. Yeah, his name was Richard. That's true.
And Richard was oh man.
There were so many of them.
Kunle Bantefa, Young.
He was the professor.
Yeah, Bimbo Manuel.
These were people who were part of that show. Rabiu, what's his real name in life? He's a producer now. I've forgotten his name. The guy that played Rabiu on the show. He's his sister too. His sister is what's her name? Empress Njama, John Njama, that's his name. So he was the Rabi, he was one of the main characters in that show. And it transferred to Fuji House of Commotion and many shows. Checkmate was one that was really
Checkmate was beautiful, because from the moment it was Thursdays from I8. The moment you had
shut down.
You better have had your food in front of you at the time, because nobody's going anywhere, even when the adverts start to play. But we'll get to the adverts as well.
Yes, we will get to the adverts. And there were many other shows. One of the very first that I experienced was Behind the Clouds. It was one very beautiful show. I don't know what year. I think it was 1991. I was very small. I only know a few of the characters, like Zach Amata and
Zach Amata.
Yeah, he was one of
royalty.
The main person I remember on that show. But Behind the Clouds was something that really attracted people. The whole family always sat down to watch Behind the Clouds. From Behind the Clouds to Ripples, which was also done every Friday. Behind the Clouds was on Sunday.
Behind the Clouds on Sunday.
Yeah. Ripples was on Friday. And that was where I first saw the man, Alex Osifu.
Umiagbo.
His name was Talababas.
That man has had premium villain
Yes, that's the
personality.
word. That's the word.
From before the 90s, he was a bad guy on arrival, just with his deep voice, just,
And
what do you say?
look, the one thing about character, some of them you tend to see that over 30, 40 years, they now shave and become bald. He has been bald. I think that man was born bald
since morning.
He was born bald because, and there was a way he spoke with his deep voice. Whoever he was talking to, he was like, I'm going to deal with you. Then he would just express the fool. And you know you're in trouble.
Alex Osifo had a prominent nose. You know when they say nobody knows tomorrow?
No, that guy knew.
Alex Osifo knows tomorrow. His head was shaved. His face was slightly squeezed.
Yeah.
He had all the facial requirements for premium villain material. Alex Osifo, I see you, sir.
Yeah, a legend.
Respect.
He had been there right from the very beginning of our childhood till now. So we need to pay him a lot of respect.
So we're going to be crisscrossing back and forth. There was
different shows.
We will not be able to speak about Nigerian TV shows without speaking about
any bad side, you know when he started the song, I was like, what is this guy saying now? What is this guy saying? But when he got to that phrase, you know, that
New
show,
Masquerade,
that show is a show that it's generational, if I would say, because from the 80s down to the 90s, it was one of the longest shows on TV growing up, because it had certain characters that have become part of our lives, like Chika Opala, which is the main character. What's his name again?
Chief Zebediah.
Is it Okorigbogbogbo? What does this?
Alias 430. Not 430.
Yeah,
430.
Yeah. So Zebediah was one that really held that show. He was the reason why people really watched that show, because he was a very funny man. He had other people in the show, funny. Like the guy that played Jegede Shokoya, who I learned was an Igbo man. But he played the Yoruba role.
Jegede Shokoya, the son of the soil,
and the youngest millionaire.
By the grace of God.
Yeah, he was another. I heard he's late now.
Yeah,
he's late, and he was one of the best actors that time. There was Zaki, the guy who played Zaki. I don't know, I forgot his name, but he's a prominent Nollywood actor too.
There was also Natty.
Yeah, there was Natty. You know, back then if they call you Natty, you start crying because you know you're a foodie.
Well, no, Natty wasn't just a foodie. Natty was distinct because he was helplessly skinny. Also, he had a special gift which would translate to he wasn't just visiting people anyhow.
Yeah, he
appeared. But just at the point where you finish cooking and food is for you're about to eat and Natty knocks on your door.
There was one of the episodes
perfect
where
timing.
They said Natty died. They were planning his funeral. Everybody was there, Jegede, Chief, Zaki. Before you know, when they sat down, time to let us enter into the refreshments. That was when Natty came out from nowhere. They say, now,
am I not going to eat?
He just came and started eating the food.
So I'm here.
So that was Natty. He was that character, a very funny character. Of course, there were the two houseboys first, Clarice and Gilingori.
Oh, yeah. Funny enough, one of them was one of the producers of the show.
Yeah.
Who had a master's, I understand, in English language.
Yeah, I think that was
Gringori.
Yeah.
By the way, Gringori, actually, what they meant to say was Gregory.
Oh,
yeah.
Really? I never knew.
They meant to say Gregory, but Gregory is too challenging. It's called Gringori and Claros. You see those two? They should have done a spin-off.
Yeah, of those
show for those two of them. They were unquestionably funny.
Oh my God, those guys were too funny. Even after they left, the show was okay because they brought somebody called Syracuse. He was the one that replaced them as the house help in the house. But that was basically what we enjoyed watching the New Masquerade. A very, very beautiful show.
I think New Masquerade also helps to shape the sense of humor of a lot of people, even the grown-ups, the young ones. Yeah. At the time as well, it was
beautiful. One of the best shows.
And then all these shows had one of many things in common, which was that it always taught you something.
Yeah.
There was a moral that you needed. Each episode had had a theme that they were addressing, had something they needed to tell you.
Yeah.
Like all the stories, if you remember, if you were in a certain generation, you think back, you realize storytelling was a premium part
Yeah, because I
of
remember
your
one of the episodes
upbringing.
of New Masquerade where they were
Yes,
talking about electoral violence during the '93 election,
yes.
and they inculcated into the show, and it was quite nice. People learned that okay, this is not what you should do during an election, and that election was one of the most peaceful elections in Nigeria. And I don't know if it had a role to play, but it did its own job very well, and that's what New Masquerade did for us, helping people to understand what is it about life that time. Nigeria was not too hard. We had a dictatorship in president, but
At
when you
least
had a
we could
show
live.
like New
We could
Masquerade,
still live.
not like now, even with the situation of the country, you don't have anything to really. You had something to go by 8 o'clock. At 8 o'clock, they'll do
What
this.
everybody looked
Okay.
out for. We always looked forward to 8 o'clock. It was almost as though Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Apart from Saturday, I don't remember that there was anything scheduled for Saturday night at 8 o'clock.
I don't think
But
so.
Sunday, yeah, there was something scheduled
There's
for
always
Sunday.
something for Sunday.
So
Sunday
all
was,
those 6 nights out of 7, we had something to look forward to. It was beautiful.
It was. There were certain shows like apart from Checkmate, there was Fortunes that came in 1994. I saw somebody wrote something on Facebook about Shego and Rinzi. He said his first on-screen show was Black Arrow, the movie acted Black Arrow.
That's so false. That's as far as you know, sir.
You can tell where that guy is coming from.
From where he started.
He started from that. I know he started from other shows, probably maybe as a theater art student, probably he performed on stage and all that. But we know Shego
on-screen experience. That was the first prominent one.
Yeah, with the Fortunes, and that Fortunes brought out so many stars. This Benz started there.
Yes.
Shego Rinzi started there. Ramsey Noah started there. Pat Atta started there. That was one of the best shows that time. Ramsey Noah. I mean, now Ramsey Noah don't old. See Ramsey Noah that time, man.
Fresh,
fine boy with so much hair. His name was Ken.
Curly hair.
His name was Ken. His brother's name was Jeff, and his rival was Shego Rinzi and Regina Askia.
Wait, how was Shego Rinzi a rival?
He was their rival. Shego Rinzi.
At what?
They came from different families that were wealthy, and they were all fighting for who was going to dominate the city.
Okay.
So Shego Rinzi, yes. Now Regina Askia, her mom was Miss Benson, and they too they were another empire.
Wait, time out. Wait, what?
Yeah, two beautiful ladies. Regina Askia's mom
was about to have a headache.
Yeah.
Regina Askia's mom was Liz.
Yes.
Oh.
Ask anybody, they'll tell you that's a Shego Rinzi's dad was one of that guy that he too was bald and he had so much mustache. I've forgotten the guy's name. But he was Shego Rinzi's dad. They kind of look alike. So but I'm saying now Pat had their own father too. But I've forgotten who they are. But the show was revolving around this street. And it was really, really entertaining because there was so much trailer in that show, and everything was. It was one of the most beautiful shows, and I'm really sad to know that you can go on YouTube and see Checkmates and other shows,
but some of those other shows,
Fortunes.
There are other shows that we could actually speak about. There was Things Fall Apart.
Now that
Things Fall Apart.
Thank you.
I knew I was going to do that.
As a child, you had that. You always had your own version when it comes to this song.
Baba Jegede know where what? Why?
So we had this song. Okay, Things Fall Apart. Honestly, that song is something that we'll always sing that time growing up because we know as children, you always had that song that you would sing, and it's always nice to hear. So that's why we always sang that song. Things Fall Apart. Baba Jegede no weapon. Jegede is the character from New Masquerade.
And how did his father come into this?
I don't know. He just sang what everybody else sang, and it is catchy. Everybody just go with it. That's how it is. And Things Fall Apart was. It's like one of the best shows in Nigeria at that time.
It was. I think if I would confidently put Things Fall Apart and put New Masquerade.
Yeah.
They would make it to my top 3
all-time
greatest Nigerian TV shows.
I think we'll have to do a show on that, top 10 Nigerian shows. That would be something, but
I will take you up on that, my
friend. We can work on that. You have your list, I have my list, and then see
let's go there.
Better. Yeah, that would be a nice thing to do. So Things Fall Apart. Yeah, that was where the great what's his name? The greatest. I call him the greatest actor in Nigerian history. Pete Odochi. Pete Odochi.
Edochie.
That's where he started as the main character called
Respect, sir.
Okonkwo.
Okonkwo.
He was so vibrant in that show.
By
As
the
in,
way,
I don't think there was anybody who could play that role better
the
than
story,
he did
yeah,
that
yeah,
time.
oh, yeah, he embodied the character.
Yeah.
The storyline for Things Fall Apart was so engaging.
Yes.
This is one of those rare moments where you see a screen adaptation of a book and they stick to the story just about letter for letter.
Yes.
They didn't alter, they didn't do any embellishment, they didn't add, take away. Oh man.
And I like the fact that it was very Nigerian.
It was
not
the production team obviously was foreign.
Yeah, but they made it Nigerian. It looked like it were Nigerians that did the whole show.
Yeah. And
it was
that epic feel to it. They made it look the authentic village life
of the
setting.
show. Yeah, it's beautiful
Beautiful.
show. Beautiful.
Yeah,
Show. One of the best show ever. Things
Also,
Fall Apart.
there are a bunch of other TV shows. We're trying to finish up with shows from the 80s into the 90s.
Yes.
There was Village Headmaster.
That was another classic. But I really can't remember a lot of that show. But I know it had to do with a king and a Yoruba king and people. I've forgotten that show, but I still see bits of it on YouTube.
On YouTube, yeah.
But I was really small, so
they
I
tried
can't
to do a
really
reenactment
remember.
on NTA some years ago.
But it didn't work.
They really fly.
No.
They really
I
fly.
don't think it did.
There was After the Storm.
Yes. What comes
After
next?
the Storm.
After the Storm was, I think, the 80s or the 90s.
No, it was the 90s.
It was the 90s.
It was the 90s.
It was the mid 90s.
Yeah.
Because I was in secondary school when After the Storm aired.
Larry Cold Sweat.
Yes. He was one of the main characters in that song. Who was the guy that was called Otiko in that show? That guy was very popular. We had a teacher in our school. We called him Otiko because he looked alike. there were certain characters like what's her name? The girl that married the guy in the show. I've forgotten her. She married somebody in our barracks. A Navy man in our barracks.
Oh yeah, I wasn't in your barracks.
I know you were not there, but I've forgotten her name. She had big eyes. You remember that lady in the show After the Storm?
I remember. I forgot. So the truth is, after some time, I had to move and leave Lagos and go to Abuja, and I spent quite a number of years, like 5 years, in a house with no TV.
Okay.
So I lost all contact with
and that was practically after that time. I don't think there was any other show that was
any
hit.
quality TV show.
Nothing from that time.
Because I think people just resigned from making quality.
Yeah,
TV
because
shows.
that time Nollywood took flight. So
That's true.
TV shows
took a break
entirely. You know, but the ones we had, there was
Winds of Destiny.
Winds of Destiny. That's one that I don't even remember.
I'll tell you what I can remember.
Which is
Mighty Power of the Lord.
Oh man, that was one beautiful show. Yes.
It was called Agbaranla.
That was the Yoruba, but it's the great power of the Lord. That great power of the Lord, done by Mount Zion.
Mike Bamiloye and his wife Gloria Bamiloye. We need to take this time out to say respect.
Yeah.
What you did will never be forgotten. It was legendary. They also made a bunch of movies back in the day. But you see that TV show,
Agbaranla. That was scary.
Especially
the Yamatanga episode.
The herbalist. His name
was the Mike Bamiloye now. He was one that played.
He had a character. His character's name
was
Ishawuru. And he always interfaced with the three witches.
Yes.
Who would always, there were intermediaries between him and I think the devil or whoever was Arometa.
Yes. Wow, that was really one show. Most of these shows, like some of them we could remember. You guys can really maybe get to the comment section and
let us know what you remember about these TV shows
because they were really enlightening. They were really wonderful to listen. What about to watch? What about the one Kate Henshaw and Do Good did?
That was Candlelight.
And that was what brought about the spin-off of their show on DSTV.
Every time I see yes.
Yeah, whatever, yeah.
Say every time I see you, my heart would just go wow.
They were not the main characters of the show, like Checkmate.
It was like what Chief Fuji's house was to Checkmate.
Yes.
It's exactly the same thing. The Kate Henshaw Ambassador Junior scene in Candlelight was a comic relief to the rest of the show.
Yes, and it was quite nice because they were really good. I remember one of Dubu's friends always called him like against Galala. The guy would say against everybody. When it's going, you look at him as the son of a tifo.
You know what was outstanding? Daddy Shoki always said that as well.
Yes, because it was really something that was trending that period. Now, yeah, it was an AJ.
If you're thinking of scary TV shows,
okay,
There was a TV show. I probably mention it, Hot Cash. You probably not think
Hey
about it as
man, look,
anything.
this
But
is
if
one
I
of the top
say
three to me.
Willy Willy,
Top three. Arguably the top three shows in Nigeria.
even the sound, even the theme song it scared you from the beginning. Just doo, doo, doo.
Whenever he's coming.
When that thing starts playing. Now, let me set the scene for you. Usually, the average Nigerian home at that time, I know this because I experienced it, AB experienced it, I've spoken to a bunch of people who experienced this as well.
Many people experience really.
By that 7:30, between 7 and 8, whatever it is a job you were doing, you had been at home already. If you were not home, you were racing all the way home. Sometimes,
especially if you're a child,
family time was sacred. We were all together.
Yeah.
Now, this is with the premise that we're all home. Usually, dinner would have been ready at that time.
Yes.
So the whole family will be sitting in front of the TV. Please ensure that your food is in front of you before Willy Willy starts. Because nobody, I'm saying this again, nobody will go to the kitchen alone.
No.
Willy Willy. I dare
especially
you.
a child.
If you finish eating, your plate stays in front of you.
Let me use that word. They don't burn you well.
They don't burn you well. When you finish eating, take your plate to the kitchen.
Yes, now.
Cupid Renner was saying, if you take your plate to the kitchen alone, you could brave it, and then NEPA takes lights while you're in the kitchen. You just start speaking in tongues.
Willy Willy was one show that hurt many children.
Scarred many of us for life, man.
If not that we became adults.
Willy don't die.
If we remain children forever, many of us would have died.
Like, because of Willy Willy. No. I want to go ease myself. Oh yeah, go now.
I remember after watching Willy Willy, I always sleep with my dad in the room. I said, "Don't be sleep with my sister." There's no way. There is no way. You can't. Did you see Willy Willy's face?
There you go.
Did you see Willy Willy? If you saw Willy Willy's face, you won't survive. Even if you're an adult, you saw that. Believe me, you would have collapsed because it was really scary. River State, you guys did a very wonderful show back then.
We're proud of you, River.
Yeah, knowing that most of the shows were coming from Lagos, Jos, and all that.
And a bunch of
but Willy Willy and Mr. B,
Bassy and
Company, those were River State shows. Yeah, those are one of the best shows River State pulled out during the
I have to take the time to say rest in peace, Sarawiwa.
Yeah,
he was an active part of that. A lot of people know him for the role he played in agitating for environmental justice for Ogoni land and the rest of River State and many of the riverine oil producing areas of the Niger Delta.
Yeah.
Many people didn't know he was an author, he was a thespian, he was an actor, he was a writer. He was a creative genius.
A very good one.
One of the evidences of this was Bassy and Company.
Yes.
Zulu Adigwe.
Yeah, the late Zulu Adigwe
was a key part of.
He was one of the best characters that time.
He had a villain face as well.
Yeah, I didn't know that Ikebo produced that show.
Wow.
I saw it when they were writing the cast. I was like, producer Ikebo, I was like, what? Osofia? That's how
there were many kids shows back in the day as well. There was Storyland. There was Tales by Moonlight.
Moonlight was a legend.
Yeah, which underscores the importance of storytelling to childhood. Talk to stories for tomorrow. You know, it was there was Speak Out, there was debate.
Those were the ones that, like, okay, I watch Speak Out because it was something that was educative. There was Kid Division 101.
That's Kid Division 101.
That was the best TV show for children for me.
Speak Out set the template for debate all around Nigeria.
Yes, they started it.
Co-debater, my
timekeeper, and the audience at home. My name is Susan. I'm here to defend the fact who says that, another school started doing that
Speak
stuff.
Out.
It was really nice.
And then, of course, if we move out of the 90s into the 2000s, of course, one of the most quality shows that greeted you late 90s into the 2000s was Everyday People.
That's you, that's me. That's another popular show, man, that really hovered all across the TV shows.
Desmond Elliott became a star in that one.
Yeah, that was where
Juliet Ibe was there as well.
So many of these characters, many of the people who became good actors these days, they started from
TVs. TV had they had ethics. You needed to be consistent. You needed to be dedicated. You needed to be diligent.
For you to get.
But you had to do many things.
That's it.
There was also Palace.
Living in a palace, everyone comes to you for something. That's another beautiful show. That it was when I was about to go to JS1, so I only watched a few episodes because I didn't stay in Lagos for my GS1, so I didn't watch a lot of it, but
Well,
I enjoyed the very beginning of it.
this must be like a football match because when he was leaving Lagos was when I was leaving Government College Kefi to come back to Lagos. I'm like, I'm back to life. I love this. It was beautiful.
There
Man,
were
it was
many shows.
beautiful.
And even when the 2000s came in, the late 90s to the 2000s, one of the best TV shows of all time was Super Story.
This is super. Shout outs to
Super.
Essence. Many people probably know, or if you don't know, that she did the soundtrack to This is Super Story.
Wow.
One of the best vocalists in Nigeria.
That's one of the best soundtrack in
Essence.
Nigerian history when it comes to TV shows. Super Story. I don't think I did a very good job.
It set your heart for whatever drama and suspense and intrigue was coming. It was very.
I don't think I did very well because it was not just Super Story. They did Papa Jasco.
Yeah,
it became a classic.
They did
the
this
first Papa Jasco. This Life
is beautiful.
Yeah, there was Bitter and Friends. These were beautiful shows. These shows were really, really captivating growing up watching them because they really made
Respect
our TV
Wale Adenuga.